Today is 5th of July, and yesterday we had the 4th of July. It was a quiet day around here. We didn't celebrate it in any particular way. Sunday we had a little bit of celebration, I guess. We got to sleep 2 hours longer on Sunday morning. We had a slight interruption there. But anyway, we did get to sleep late on Sunday morning, 2 hours, which I enjoyed a great deal. But after that, we were required to come on to work. And then we only worked for 2 hours and knocked off at 11:15. Very ridiculous, but I guess it has to be showing up on the books as that spending some time working 7 days a week. The only day that really got awful here was the 25th birthday of the Seabees. We got the full Sunday morning off, which is the equivalent to having a full Sunday off because we had the Sunday afternoon off also. So we get Sunday afternoon off every week anyway. But it seems to me like that for 4th of July or something like this, it wouldn't hurt to have the full day off, but apparently that's not held, the same opinion held by 30th NCR under different command. Dan, I enjoyed a great deal of you including on your half the tape Cliff Farrell and his singing from the Billy Graham program. They always have, in my opinion, very inspirational singing in the crusade. I was happy to hear that Bill and Barbara Preston finally showed up after a delay of 1 day or so. I hope they had a nice day and a good trip on to Florida. I am sort of like y'all when you start looking back at some of these movies that you want to go again. I don't blame you. In fact, I wish you would pack up your bags and go on into Montana, Colorado, and spend a couple weeks, relax, fish, and then come back. You would enjoy it, I'm sure. Dad, you mentioned something about possibly drilling some more wells at the same site as we have wells now. Sounds like a good idea. When do you plan to do this? And how many barrels of oil do you produce now? Or how many do you expect to produce? Sorry to hear that the rain situation is not as good as it could be or has been in the past. I do hope that is resolved before long because the little clipping he said where Mayor Welch has for odd days for the odd number of houses on the street to water and even and so on. That I guess is measures to help, but there's also an indication that there is a shortage of water. Your last tape was mailed on Monday evening, as I could best tell from what you were talking on the tape. I received it on Friday, which is really your Thursday. And that's about 4 days service. That's pretty good. In fact, it's excellent. It's probably a record for any of the things you sent over. Even letters don't come through that fast. I'm glad, Mother, that the little cup and saucer I mailed from Kentucky arrived. I'd even forgot about it. That little cup. So I guess the China should be following up very shortly. It's supposed to take about a month and 10 days. I'm also glad to hear that your needlepoint's coming out real well and that you enjoy doing it. I'm glad you pointed out that you're going to put it on the walnut chair. I just didn't remember. The rocking chair doesn't have a cover on it now at all, as I remember. It would be nice, I guess, to make a pillow or a cushion or something to put into the chair. I'm sorry to hear that the George's planned move to Colorado is not panning out. It sounds to me like the Fleming Company gives Mr. George the same runaround that the Navy Department has given me. Um, he's promising something just to keep you off your back. So maybe a change in companies would be good for Mr. George. Particularly if they're not going to give him any benefits, so to speak. Do keep me posted on how Mrs. Norris is doing and what she's doing. Hope she comes back to civil affairs. Well, I just had another interruption, so I had to stop and go to the door. I can't imagine, well, even maybe possibly by now, Steve's graduation friends arrived. I did send it to 72, 27, because I didn't think they would be at their old apartment. I didn't want it to get delayed or lost trying to get to the new address. According to the insurance little slip I have, I mailed it on the 13th of June, which is really, I guess, it would take about 2 weeks to get there if it went by airmail from here. And if it went by ship, it might be a month or so before it gets there. But most of the small packages do go by airmail, regardless of what class of mail you send them. One reason I did go ahead and send it as far as the post. It is insured, and I will send you the little slip of paper in case something does happen. Last Sunday, I was sitting here in the office, and Larry Milberger came by. He is an MCD 54, 774, which is here in Da Nang also. And I was quite surprised because he left Fort Hueneme and went to Gulfport, Mississippi and joined 74. I had forgot that he was in 74, and I knew 74 was here. But we plan to get together again, maybe some weekend, go out to the beach. But he's been here since May, and if I had known he was in 74, I should have seen him before. But I was glad to see him, and also it was quite a surprise, too. We spent, I guess, about 2 hours here. He enjoyed the air conditioning office also. And we talked for a while. He was with some guys. We're up at the exchange shopping. They come over in the truck, load of them. Got their shopping out of the way, and they went back that evening. I've been working on organizing all the slides that I took in Tokyo, and I've got them on the sequence I want. I sat down last night, tried to put on tape what I wanted to say about them, but I wasn't very happy with how it was coming out, so I will have to do it over and do a little different. Because it was becoming too humdrum. I want to have it a little more interesting. That when I get home, I can use the tape and when we show it to people, because the same information, as you go over and over, becomes very boring, and you tend to leave out a lot of interesting details. So maybe this is a good idea that I can continue on all my films. Today it was finally decided by the executive officer that I will be going to Subic Bay in the Philippines on the 17th of July to retake these basic battery exams to apply for OCS. I will be going down on the 17th and be coming back on the 22nd. Now, depending on the schedule I have while I'm there, I will try to call home on the 19th or the 20th, depending on what the schedule is. I will try to call a little earlier than I did in Japan, try to get a hold of you around 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm not real sure how the phone situation is from the Philippines to the States. I'm sure it won't be as good as it is from Tokyo. In fact, it may not even be possible. So if I don't call, don't get upset or worried. It's just that the phone is not available. I will then probably send you a wire or a telegram somehow to let you know that I couldn't get through by telephone. Or even if it's too expensive, I won't call. So in Tokyo, I think it's $13 the first 3 minutes and $7 for each additional minute, or something like that. But if the setup is not as good as it is in Tokyo, I'm sure it might be even more expensive. And then I wouldn't worry with it. The second platoon had their party at the Ace Medusa Club this past Monday night. It was much better than the first platoon's party because we had some sandwiches and stuff to eat. And where the first platoon had their party outside, we had it inside the club. And it made it a little nicer. And everybody had a good time. So we ended up spending $72 that night. It was even cheaper than the other party. I guess because they had something to eat, everybody didn't drink as much. Today I received a big box of goodies from Bob and Doll. She sent some sort of like popcorn balls, but they weren't in balls. One batch was coconut, another batch was nuts. And it was real good. It was caramel. Doll also fixed in the package a can of candied nuts. I don't know what they call them. Anyway, they're hard candy, sugar candy. And then a bag of marshmallows. So it looks like I'm never going to lose any weight. Finally, yesterday evening, finished up the trash he sent. And it was real good. I saved what little bit I had left for the 4th of July to help celebrate. And so it's gone now. As soon as I get the popcorn and marshmallows out of the way, maybe I can get back on my diet for a week or two. But I enjoy it, so keep them coming. Yesterday I received a nice long letter from Steve, and he sounds all excited about graduate school, and I'm real happy he is. I received a letter from Archie Kroon, and he was really excited about me having found the tape recorder for him. He hadn't received it as yet, but he was real happy it was on its way. I haven't heard from Jared in a long time. I got to write him another letter and cheer him out a little bit. But I guess it keeps him busy running back and forth home on the weekends. So if you see him, my airplane, tell him to get on the ball now and stop their line. At least let me know where he is. One thing, this trip to Civic Bay will provide sort of another R&R, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll be able to take a lot of pictures there, so I'll even have another story to tell when I get back from there. The Philippines, too, must be an interesting place. It's full of Filipinos anyway. This is a 200-foot tape when usually it's a 150-foot tape. And I'm not too talkative tonight anyway, it seems like. I can't think of anything else to say. So I got that much tape left. I think I'll say good night for tonight and get it on into the mail. And maybe next time I'll have a little more to say and fill up the tape. So be good, and I'll be looking forward to another tape before I go to the Philippines. It's a week from this coming Monday. So take care. I'll be talking to you later. Today is Friday the 29th of July. I received your last tape today. I returned back from the Philippines last Saturday. I've been a little lazy in getting any letters off or any tapes, particularly to you or Becky. Trying to decide what to do about OCS whether or not to apply for it or not. It's really a problem to think about. It looks like now that my name has been put in for a field promotion to second-class petty officer, and I probably will get a B school in engineering aid draftsman. And if those two things pan out, it probably may be better to stay in as enlisted and go ahead and get some schooling and take the second-class petty officer. And it would be possible, maybe, to get a cut in enlistment time. I know this time, after the deployment, the people that are not going to make another deployment can put in and get a cut. Otherwise, they'll get probably a 3 to 4 month cut. Although going to OCS would mean additional money, about another $150 a month. And the prestige of an officer is a little more. It would also help bridge the gap between service and professional practice. If I were to be accepted for OCS and go to OCS and get out at the end of in February, I would have to be in service another 3 years, which would be equivalent of another 1 year extension. It may be worth it, it may not. I don't know. But as it looks now, I probably won't go to OCS. I probably won't even fly. So y'all can rest a little easier now about that. The field promotion to second class entails the command show that I'm qualified enough for second class, and that I won't have to take the second class exam. Now this will go to Washington for approval at the bureau level. So if they have available quotas for second class, I probably will get it. I enjoyed your tape very much. Mother, you don't sound like you're feeling too well right now. I hope that you'll be a bad day then, and your arm getting better. You sound tired. You need to get more rest. Of course, I'm sure with Stephen going to Denver, Utah, and me thinking about going to OCS probably bothered y'all a little bit, but a lot of radicals out in the shop tonight. They've opened up the shop for the men to make spots and mail high fives on me. It's very nice to be down to the deployment. The shop will be open for guys to make boxes. Anyway, you mentioned in the last tape that I fell in the junkyard. Well, I did, but I didn't hurt myself too bad. I got a skin up my knee, but I just put the Campo-Phoenique on it next day and went about my business. Steve's adventure in Salt Lake City does sound exciting. I'm real happy for them. I know they do like the mountains. And if they do get settled out in Utah, both of you can go out there and visit them. And anyway, y'all like the mountains too, so that's for the best. I would suggest to Stephen and Sanford that they go and get settled and make sure they're going to stay there before they involved in moving too many things out there. They can get a fairly well furnished apartment, including utensils and things. And then later on, have everything sent to them. I'm glad that you told Becky I was in Da Nang. I thought I had made that point clear to her a number of times, but maybe, you get something in your mind and you don't sometimes hear or remember other things. I don't want to worry anymore about the situation here. He already has, but it's good to know exactly where I am, I suppose. I'm glad that China arrived in good condition. I'm rather sorry to hear that the large serving platter is not as perfect as we would like it. Narataki did say that if anything was defective or anything, they would send it, you could send it back, and they would send you another at their own expense. So, no more than, we serve turkey once a year, or twice a year. Probably could go ahead and send the platter back and get another. We have plenty of time. The show patrol duty in the Yim Club, I don't stand it every night. I'm on the board of governors of the Yim Club. There are 3 men from each company, 2 petty officers and 1 non-rated. And the petty officer stands show patrol in the Yim Club. That gives us about 8 or 9 petty officers to stand show patrol. And we're taken out of the regular duty section and put into the watch schedule for show patrol. And I have a show patrol wide on once every 8 or 9 days. It's about 3 hours long. In my estimation, it's entirely a waste of time. But I suppose the badge does do something to keep it down some people. Hope that you all enjoyed your baseball game with the Davises at the Astrodome. I couldn't believe that Sandy is in Europe by herself, or did she go with somebody? It just sort of seems it's hard to believe that she go by herself. And leave the kids at home. Mackie is going to meet her in Canada. I guess they're going to the Expo 67, which is very well publicized. When I was in Tokyo, there was signs all over the place about it. Expo 67. There's also been several write-ups in the Progressive Architecture magazine showing many of the buildings and everything. It's quite a surface, superfluous type show. Exotic, nothing. But it's good to hear that the oil production is much better than what you anticipated when you bought in. I hope the black gold keeps running. Maybe you'll be able to buy you a ranch in Colorado or Utah for long. I enjoyed the music you recorded on the last tape. The familiar sounds. I probably play those records quite a bit. In fact, I usually play them all quite a bit, so any of them would be familiar sounds. You mentioned that Bill George and Mrs. George were over playing Moon in 42. I guess Ralph George is probably still up in Denver. He's been spending a lot of time up there. I hope it pays off for him. Haven't been too busy here lately. I have been typing in rosters and military organizations. We've got several people on detachment right now. In fact, one company, Delta Company, has got all their men on detachment except for a clerk, company adjutant, and a couple other men, and a few master cooks out of the company. They're down in Quinlan, which is down near Saigon. They're building an officers retreat, R&R center, in-country R&R center. We have 5 men down there. Some plumbers and some electricians. They should be gone the remainder of the deployment. So before they left, they packed all their gear to be packed in the Connex boxes and sent back on ships. This weekend, most of the men, as I mentioned, are building boxes to be packed into the Connex boxes for hi-fi stereo. I'm personally going to mail mine by mail. So there's no assurance that when they pack them in the Connex box, we'll get back dry. because a number of times ships have got water on board. If the filter is not working properly, they could get water coming up. And I'd hate to get the hi-fi equipment rusty and corroded. So I'd probably behoove me to mail it back. It will come back error, even if I send it partial post. So towards the end of August or 1st of September, I will probably box it up and send it. I will be going to Japan on the 17th of August. Dad, your other business acquaintances there might be of some assistance. I don't want to use out the welcome over there, though, so maybe you'll get to Japan someday. It would be a nice trip to go over and see Sumitomo and go through their mills. It'd be quite expensive, I'm sure, but it would be a nice trip. There'll be four of us going on the 17th. Pete Burrows is the only man going from my company. He's another engineering aide at the Bravo company. He's paint sign. And we'll be going together. I don't know whether we'll spend our time together or not. Our interests are much different. So, I don't know. I plan to stay on the base most of the time, unless your friends provide. I'm watching TV right now. We've got the Lost in Space on.
When someone in a country where you're stationed asks you a question about your government, he expects you to supply the answer. This booklet, Congress at Work, will help you to be a better spokesman for the United States. It explains the committee system, how lobbies work, and how a bill can become the law of the land. This booklet contains 50 questions and answers about your government. Research summaries. Read both these pamphlets. They're available to you. Boys, it's trouble. The first game is over. First score, 135 to 50. You lose, Dr. Smith. Everyone has a bad game and it's the good that's one to buy. All right, you do. Now we try it again. Never here. This is here. I see you building up your confidence, and now I can apply pressure. Set them up again, boys. Just don't make us robots like they used to. The truth of the matter is,
I do enjoy the program. It provides a lot of humor.
entertainment, information, and education. Stay tuned with the American Forces Vietnam Network, Channel 11.
Well, it's not Channel 11, it's Channel 11 tonight. But I guess you got cut off there. We've had a lot of trouble with the TV generators that's going out down there. And they've been off and on the air.
This is Three Star Final, a comprehensive summary of late world news, sports, and local weather, as compiled from major wire services and network news media.
Give you an idea of how our news comes to us over here. Started, I don't know.
Good evening, and welcome to Three Star Final. Before going into the news, I'd like to welcome Quang Nai into our viewing audience. We understand they received Channel 11 for the first time last night. Good to have you with us. A force of the 9th Marines Regiment crossed into the thin sector of the demilitarized zone this morning. It's the first U.S. penetration into the 6-mile-wide buffer zone since May 29th. The Marines made their crossing 2 miles northwest of Tonkin. Their mission to destroy or neutralize enemy artillery and mortar positions south of the Benhai River. So far, no contact reported. U.S. strike pilots claimed the probable kill of one of North Vietnam's sophisticated MiG-21. His Air Force Phantom jet pilots battled 2 of the Soviet-built Delta-winged interceptors. The MiG jet confronted the American warplanes left of heart. A military spokesman said a missile fired by one of the Phantoms definitely hit a MiG, but no explosion was seen by the American pilot because of heavy cloud cover. In other air action against the North, Navy pilots of the 70 pontoon sections appear on the radar site. Air Force pilots destroyed or damaged 9 trucks and set off numerous secondary explosions and fires during their mission over the north. President Johnson has created a special advisory commission to investigate race riots. He also called on the nation to pray Sunday for peace and reconciliation among Americans. In a nationwide address, Mr. Johnson said that he had directed Defense Secretary Robert McNamara to order National Guard units to begin training in riot control. He said the looting, arson, and plunder which have occurred are not part of a civil rights protest. He said there is no American right to loot stores or burn buildings or to fire rifles from the rooftops. He said the criminals who committed the acts of violence against the people deserve to be punished and must be. Detroit appears to be quiet, but Governor George Romney is maintaining the 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew on the city because sightseers have flooded into the riot-torn area. Soldiers have gained nearly complete control of Detroit, the nation's 5th largest city. The 4 days of violence have claimed a total of 38 lives, with more than 1,000 wounded and 3,000 arrested. And related news, Chicago Mayor Richard Daley says he has information that his city is next on the list for racial disturbances. Today, he told the people of Chicago that the acts of violence and looting are acts of criminals and hoodlums, and that law, order, and justice will prevail in Chicago, and that every possible means to prevent violence will be used. Other racial trouble spots have been reported as relatively quiet, but National Guardsmen remain on duty in Toledo, Ohio, South Bend, Indiana, and Cambridge, Maryland. Congress, as expected, is reacting to the big city disturbances. DC votes pointed clearly to the underlying attitudes of lawmakers this summer. ABC's Irv.
This is probably not the most colorful of all the newscasts on this particular subject, but they have had quite a few reports on it, never any pictorial reports. And the editions of the Stars and Stripes, which we get every day, not every day, but it's printed every day, there have been several photographs and some pretty good-sized articles about all this trouble. I'm sure it's not necessarily Negroes or whites involved in civil rights, nothing more than a communist trying to stir up some trouble. Well, back on the local scene, Mr. Thatcher went back to Chunkin Tuesday morning. Tried to get out Monday, couldn't get out. He seems, I guess he wants a Purple Heart, because he keeps going back up there. And that's a good place to get one. You've heard about it in the news quite a bit, I suppose. They've had a lot of fighting up near the DMZ. They've been trying there for about 4 months to drill a well up there. And they got several, I guess 100 and some feet in the ground. And still didn't get water. So they moved the well, and they're going to try again. And then they had a rocket attack up there, and one of the rockets hit the well. And they had to shut it down for about 3 weeks while they get repair parts for it. So they've gone back now to repair the rig. And if he keeps going, he might get him a Purple Heart. And he won't say that, but I mean, there's no reason for him to be up there otherwise. Received a tape from Becky, and she was going to quit work, where she's working, and go home for a month. I thought that's a good idea. And her parents are planning to go to a dude ranch in Colorado. So I imagine they'll have a good time there. She's looking forward to going back to school and getting started with that. She said that she feels like she's going back now a little more experienced and hopes to be a little better organized this year. Stephen Sanford must be real busy. I haven't heard from Redmond about, long before I went to the Philippines. I haven't received a tape from him since he graduated. So either he was given out or they've given up. I just switched over to the TV, and the Escapades are coming on. I sometimes wonder just who makes the selection for the TV program. The Escapades are good, but it's not the type thing that I would think most of the men would enjoy. I personally enjoy the Ice Age in real life, but it doesn't seem to do much for me on TV. One of the biggest projects that MCD4 has been working on while we've been here is what is known as Liberty Bridge, the 2,040-foot bridge south of Da Nang, about 12 miles. And Mr. Stewart in operations has asked me to do an oil painting of the bridge. So as soon as he gets the address, I'm going to be glad to try it and see what can come up. I don't plan to go down to the bridge but on the site study, by the way. It's been fairly safe down there. They haven't had any trouble. The VCs are probably waiting till the bridge is finished and then try to blow it up. As far as the war is going, it's been rather quiet around here ever since the rocket attack. They do that thing, I guess, more or less for propaganda reasons, rather than to make any military headway. But I know the press played it up back home, and I'm sure it did also in North Vietnam, Russia, and everywhere else. I'm sending the roll of movie film home of the pictures I took of the ship. No, I took pictures of the worst parts, and it was mainly concentrated in one or two areas, so I had no idea what the pictures looked like, but that made you a false impression that it was really being bad, or it may give you an impression it wasn't as bad as the news made it to be. But I did try to show everything I could find. I do hope the slides of Tokyo have arrived. It's been about 2.5 weeks. I think I mailed it. So if the railroad track hasn't held up too much, I should be there by now. I haven't mailed the movie projector as yet. I might wait a while. I'm still thinking about sending some movies back here and looking at them before the comment and send them on back. The movies of the attack down there will come direct to Houston. Well, it looks like I've run out of anything constructive to say or anything interesting to say, and I've recorded all I can find interesting on the TV. So I guess I'll ring off for this time. I'm sorry I didn't have too much news then. But y'all be good and take care and get rested up, and let me know what Steve and Sanford decide on doing. So I'll say goodbye for this time. It's Sunday evening, the 6th of August, and another day is almost over, and we're well into another month. And that gives us about 2 more until we come in, which is outstanding. It makes 7 months we've been over here already. We're going on 7 months, I guess. Yeah. So that's nice to know that there's that much water under the bridge. Today has been a nice day. Started out this morning with the general routine, and then at lunchtime, some of the men in the butcher shop managed to get some steaks from the galley and built a little fire out in the shop, and we charcoaled steaks in the shop. The little barbecue provided some break in monotony. We didn't have any of the trimmings to go with it. We had bread. I had 3 steaks myself. I guess it was 10 or 12 ounce steak. So it was pretty good eating. And then after that, I came in, and since the chapel fell in, I mentioned that earlier, I designed my own little idea of what I thought the chapel should be like, and got a little model built of it. And this morning we went over to Mr. Bednar with the operations officer and showed him the idea. He was quite impressed, although we don't have the money to do it. And then went by and showed it to the captain. He was equally impressed with the idea. I suggest that this R&R center, which we are so busily constructing, there should be some consideration to some kind of a worship space or a chapel. Apparently this is not a commonly held idea, so they don't have it in their plans of doing any kind of chapel work here. Seems to me that in a R&R center of this type, there would be a need for a chapel. I'm sure there'd be many attend, but for the ones who did, would be worth the effort. But at any rate, there isn't one. That's the reason I thought the chapel I built could be used somehow in connection with that. Anyway, I came back and after lunch photographed the chapel complex. And I should be getting those prints back in not too long anyway. And upon completion of that, I picked up the mail and then came back and went down to the USO at the R&R Center. Up at the R&R Center on the hill here. And played the piano for a while, and then came back and had chow. We had steak for dinner. So I've had 4 steaks today. That's not bad at all. And I came down to the office this evening and been watching TV. And I decided I'd better make a tape. Even though I don't have too much to say, and there isn't really too much news, too much going on right now. Everything's pretty routine. The battalion is starting to slow down a little bit. You can see it in some respects. So many of the projects are starting to be completed. And we're not really starting big projects because we will be going too much. MCD-9 will relieve us, and they will be coming over towards the end of August. That will be a glorious day to see them come, because when they get here, it means it's not more than a month away that we'll be going back. There's some speculation that our first flight is on October the 3rd, and there'll be 7 flights. That means that all will be out of here by at least the 10th of October. I hope before. It really hasn't been any formal announcement made yet. Mr. Thatcher is leaving Bravo Company and going over to Headquarters Company. He'll be going back with the advance party toward the end of the month as the training officer. He'll be setting up the training schedule for the battalion while it's at home port. I may have mentioned earlier, I have been submitted for a field promotion to 2nd class, which is page 85, which is A-OK as far as I'm concerned. And also, I'm supposed to get a B school in February, which is an engineering aid drafting. To give you an insight on a little more what naval type drafting is and how they do things. Looking forward to that. It also means I'll miss part of the next deployment, which really tears me up. We'll join the battalion after it's already in country and cut my pay a little shorter. You probably can hear in the background that people are still out in the shop setting up wood making boxes. I guess this will probably go on every night until the end of the deployment. I did manage to get a tape off to Bethany Dad, and is equally blank on news to her as I am to you all, because I just not really anything going on. I did write Steve last night, and wrote y'all a letter last night, so I guess maybe that's one of the reasons why I sort of blank on news. I should have maybe waited a little longer for the tape. Last Sunday afternoon, I went driving around the Da Nang area and took some photographs. And I mailed these photographs last Monday, and I got the slides back today. Pretty good service. Considering we went over there into the States, processed, and came back all the same week. That's as good as stateside service. Some of the films I mailed earlier haven't returned yet, so I must have just happened to get into the right sequence of flights to make the schedule. There are flights in this Penang area, and I'll be forwarding to you shortly. Some pretty good flights. I've been wanting to get out into the Penang ever since I've been here and really see what is going on. And it was nothing more than I expected. Just a little more dog patch, a little bit better. More dog patch. It's the same kind of living. And we went down to USO also, and had a little bit of had a sandwich for lunch on Sunday afternoon. Then we went up on, I guess I've already mentioned this, but up on the Monkey Mountain, which overlooks the Penang Bay and the entire area of Penang. Quite an impressive sight to really see how much U.S. money is spent here. And just for miles, you can see buildings and stuff that we put up in Virginia. I don't mean that we, into the forest, but everything U.S. has made occupation here. Well, being as I wrote a little last time, I think I'll call it an evening this evening and maybe finish up the tape tomorrow evening. Maybe I have more to add on after tomorrow develops. But I don't think I can finish out the side tonight, let alone the second side. So I guess I'll say good night for tonight and finish out tomorrow evening. Well, Monday did develop, and it drug on into Tuesday, and it's right now Tuesday evening. Today I got a little film back that I rather jumbled up. It's got a lot of different information on it. I'll discuss it later on, but it finally came back. And I did go ahead and mail the flies I'd mentioned earlier of Da Nang, so they could reach there before the tape reaches. Another film came back today also. All of them were bad. I'm going to write a letter back to Kodak and tell them I don't think they sent me the right film, because with the foolproof camera I'm using, there shouldn't have been any bad pictures on them. And I think possibly it's probably the strip of film that I took of the rocket attack, and they could have kept them and set me up dead in place of. Also received, Dad, today your letter that you wrote. It's on the 3rd of August, explaining my contacts in Tokyo this time with NKK Steel Mills. Sounds real interesting. I do plan to take their offer up. And Palace Hotel is the one that I showed that I have pictures of Mr. Nikamura and Hosina in the lounge of the hotel. So it'll give you an idea of where I'll be staying from the flies that I sent home already. I will give Mr. Hosina a call while I'm there and see if he still wants to go through his trip to Nico, the shrine. He was trying to get me to before. So it does sound very exciting to be able to have such a good setup this time. I don't know whether they're going to pay for it or not, but just the idea of having reservations would be nice. The 5 cigarette lighters that you want, I'll try to get them. I don't remember what they cost, but I may not have enough money to get 5. Don't plan to take very much this time. But I can get you a couple for sure anyway. So it looks like this tape's about to end up on this side, so I'll flip it over and see how far I can get on the second side. I guess I got more left on the tape than I thought. Anyway, I will write them a small note, although you don't have an address here. So I will send you a letter, and you can forward it on to them, or inform the people there in Houston. I will take them up on their offer. I'd also like for you to thank Mr. Rogers Bartlesmeyer of Apex Pipe Incorporated for possibly making the arrangement, at least being, the Houston contact on this. Well, it looks like now this time it is getting closer in the tape. I think the second side of the tape, I'm going to start out with a quick run-through or review of the movies I'm sending along with the tape. So we'll start out with it, see how far we get. And the first part of this roll of film was taken of the B-52 crash down at the airstrip. It doesn't come out too well, but you do see an occasional glimpse of planes. We also see some ambulances in the distance, proceeding towards the, coming back from the airstrip to the 1st Medical Battalion. As far as about a mile away, you see how big the planes were. And we pick up a little sign of NCD-4 at the main gate. This is one afternoon, it was raining real hard, so I thought I'd make an interesting picture. You get an idea what the monsoon season looks like here, which will be starting for too long. And it came down in about 30 minutes, and 30 minutes after it was over, there wasn't a puddle left. So the ground is so sandy that it just seeps in or washes away. The big metallic building is the steel shop. We have welding and power shears and things. This is a jet that is in the circle pattern of the airstrip. They make the same flight before they land. This is from outside the B Company office looking back toward the rock crusher over at A Company yard. Here we pick up some helicopters that's flying. Again, on telephoto looking toward the rock crusher at sunset. This here is a crane. What they call a flying crane. MCD-4 built this large tower, built several of them, and they were all flown out to the site and erected for marine observation along the outer perimeters. The VC blow these things up and they fly another one in. It'd be pretty depressing to the VC to know it doesn't do any good to blow it up. The one to the left, as you see there, in the picture will be moved later on in another film. These are enormous flying helicopters. Yeah, he just disappeared over the top of the foot of the Tail 327. This is the Bravo Company yard for storage of bottled acetylene and oxygen. Now we're in downtown Da Nang. To give you an idea of the traffic and the busy life there. Well, to give a little story there about the film. We do have another film on the way of the crane picking up the other tower, which is all metal. The first one was all wood, creosote old. Doesn't seem there's been too much that happened since Sunday evening. Yesterday I was going to finish out the tape last night, but Mr. Thatcher was in the office and evening, going over some of his structure books he's getting out in November. And he was sort of reviewing his sessions. And I didn't make the tape last night, so I thought I'd do it tonight. Today I bought another pallet of sodas for the soda mess. It was $192 for 80 cases. And since our last party, we made close to $349. So it's about ready for another party. Probably have a big blowout here before Mr. Thatcher goes back to the States to commemorate his leaving Bravo The new company commander was to take over Tuesday, but had to be out of the area, so he was supposed to take over when he gets back. I don't know when that's going to be. Tomorrow or the next day. Today for dinner we had roast turkey. They must have a lot of cans of roast turkey, so we have roast turkey once a week. We have liver once a week, steak once a week, chicken once or twice a month, roast beef at least twice a week, barbecue wieners and stuff. So it was pretty good turkey this evening. I did receive your last tape yesterday, and I just about forgot to make comment on it. So what I was mentioning, or what I talked about in the last tape, is the possibilities of OCS bridging the gap between service and the profession. The outlook of other people on coming out of the Navy as a commissioned officer would be, I think, better than coming out as an enlisted man. And also, the entire time I've been in the Navy, I've had to make several explanations to everyone why I'm not officer, and I can imagine this may drag on into later life. But we've already made our decision, so there'll be stand. All the cookies did come through in fine shape. It didn't last long. I opened the box for everyone in the office, and I don't really need to gain any more weight. But we did enjoy them a great deal. I'm real glad that you all did enjoy Tokyo 67. I hope all of you weren't in by all the grandeur of the first few feet of the tape. But I do plan to rework the tape and make it... while I'm in Tokyo, I'm going to try to get some classical Japanese music to use as background instead of the music I did use, or the only thing I had to use. I'm glad Becky enjoyed visiting with you all and the trip to the Houston Club. I would have liked to have been there for that. A good square meal at the Houston Club is always apropos. I'm also thrilled that she enjoyed the ball house, and I will agree with her. I would like to have one of those myself. But the coins are somewhat of another problem. She is from Amarillo, Mother. You said you couldn't remember if it was Amarillo or Abilene, but she is from Amarillo. I'm glad that you both, all three of you, enjoyed the monkeys that I sent. They are, I thought, real charming. And I bought one. Said, well, I better buy two because I enjoyed them, and I knew Becky would enjoy hers. The tote bag that you said that I sent home, Becky had sent that to me. I mentioned to her that I had some sake while I was in Japan. Sake's a light dinner wine. And she'd been shopping down at Wells Design, and I saw this sake bag, so she sent it to me. So I sent it home because, as you can tell, it was a little bit dirty. It wouldn't take very long for it to get completely soiled over here. Just some dust. Glad Jerry finally called you. I haven't heard from him yet. Maybe he will get on the ball now and write. I did write him another letter about a week ago. You mentioned Rick Carter coming to the Houston. Is that Mr. Carter or is that his son? You're right. The riots in the U.S. Somewhat disturbing, and maybe it would be best to get you a little place out behind a rock in Austin, Texas. I am looking forward to golf game, Dad, with Craig Sutherland at the New Golf Country Club. My score may have dropped a little bit, but my intentions will still be good. I designed a plaque for the old club. They made an extension to the officers club, and I designed a plaque to put in the club to commemorate the feat of building the extension. And also they've built a memorial to the Seabees that were killed on deployment this time. And I designed a little plaque for that. Actually, I'm can't say that I enjoy Vietnam more than I do the States, but the time passes faster over here than it did in the States. I'm not really looking forward to going back to the States, spending 4 or 5 months doing nothing in Fort Hueneme. I'm not saying I enjoy it in the war, but I've had it pretty good over here. Well, I've done better on this tape than I thought I was going to do. I've got almost 2 sides, at least. I started out, I think I've got enough news to fill it up. But I've just about run down of anything to say, so I think I'll call it to an end and send the tape on. I will be mailing the film on, too, with the tape. I do have several films coming back. And I will do some sightseeing in Tokyo and take some more pictures. We'll have to have a Tokyo 67 Part 2. And I'm looking forward to that. See if I can top this one. So goodbye for this time. Alright, today is August the 15th, and I'm very anxiously waiting for the 17th to roll around, when we'll be leaving on R&R back to Tokyo. Mom, the chocolate cake that you sent, the chocolate brownie cake, or whatever it was real good. It arrived here in one piece, and it was in very good condition, very fresh. Enjoyed that, but I did receive a care package from Stephen Sanford and a letter inside. The first care package, they said, was real good. It had cookies in it, and people here obviously all enjoyed them very much. He mentioned they had to repack it. So she had it the first time. He was sending some little bunnies with Kool-Aid in them. They haven't arrived yet. I'm real anxious to see what they are. He said I can give them to the troops. I guess he's referring to the Vietnamese children. They call them gooks. Gooks. Don't know too many Vietnamese children, but I imagine you find some around here, hanging around different places. I was quite surprised to find out that Lake Charles, 37th refinery had such an explosion. There was an enormous write-up in the Stars and Stripes. I had sent a copy of that on home. I hope it's arrived there by now. But they make it seem pretty bad. It shows some photographs and everything. I did write on Carl and Hazel and express concern about them. I assumed they weren't even hurt, but I wrote them a nice letter anyway. Sorry to hear that Sharon and Cecil are going back up north. Sound like they might become confirmed Yankees if they're not careful. I know the money is important, but if they'd rather be in Texas, they ought to move to Texas. Simple as that. I'm glad Steve and Sanford are going to go ahead with their plans. I'm also happy to hear that Sanford's going to stay in Houston for a while and allow Steve to sort of feel out the ground up there and see where they want to stand. Do hate to hear these driving straight through. It would be a nice long drive anyway. It's not too bad if you keep your head and drink coffee along the way. In fact, I really enjoyed my drive from California by myself. It was long at sometimes, but it was good to get away from Fort Hueneme and nothing else. I'm glad that Emmett Mizell and Mrs. Mizell were over to see the Tokyo slides. I do want them to come back and see the slides with the narration. And get a response from that. The Baileys are on vacation now, and real happy for them. I haven't heard from Virginia yet. I think you'll have to give her a little kick for me. And that's why she hasn't written. Of course, I haven't been, so I guess it'll be a gripe. The fish pond, you were talking about having some more fish in it. Well, that's real good. We'll have a bigger population of them now. I wouldn't worry about cleaning it out, being as soon as they're fried in it. Just turn it off occasionally so they can keep the sunlight. I'm glad to hear that DJ and the kids came down to visit Mrs. Norris. I'm also glad that the dog is keeping her company. I was wondering, you mentioned earlier, some case maybe a couple months ago, they happened to read in a will. I believe y'all went to the reading of the will, and you never really make any comment on it. I was wondering what happened. Enjoyed Uchiyama's little expose in the case. Somewhat freaking, but I enjoyed hearing her again. I will agree that she was a pretty cute little dog. I imagine she may have been topper. Did you receive the article I said on LBJ's issue? Glad to hear that you've joined the country club at Bay City. I know it must be a very nice place, and I am looking forward to playing golf. I don't know how Becky plays golf or not. I'll have to find out. Maybe she'd like to go with us several times. Very exciting to hear that you are considering buying some property near Bowling. And the aspect of having a nice little meandering stream on the property is real nice. In fact, if you could possibly build in the vicinity of the stream, it would be real nice. Don't wait till I get out of service to get it, though. I mean, really, that's another 2 years away. If you want to get the land now, you can start planning from that. After all, look how long it took to build the ball house. We don't want to delay it any further. I can do some little sketches while I'm in service and give it to a good contractor, so we can go from there. I do hope the land is for sale. You mentioned the possibility it wouldn't be. The aspect of some horses doesn't sound too bad, and get us a good Tennessee Walker, good quarter horses, and provide some leisure riding. Y'all mentioned, you thought you rambled on and didn't say anything. Well, if anybody rambles on, it'd be me, because I don't really have anything exciting going on over here. So I'll just ramble on. But it's good to hear you ramble on. Because whether you realize it or not, there's a lot of news. We're talking. You were commenting on the world's largest St. Augustine plantation. I guess you're right, Mom. I really never thought about it, but I guess it probably is the only place that goes St. Augustine. So it would have to be the world's largest. I did enjoy the number of selections of music that you put on the tape, and the red sails and the sunset after you had dinner at the club. It was real nice. You mentioned that Bob and Doll had sent another package. The only package I recall recently has been about, before I went to the Philippines. Received a package from them of popcorn and some assorted popcorn goodies with coconut in them. So like popcorn ball type thing. Brother, you sounded better on the tape this time, and maybe you're rested up now a little better. I got some racket outside, trucks moving around. But anyway, maybe you're resting up better. You sounded better at home than you did down at the trailer, so maybe you're sleeping better at home. How's your bed up there anyway? I was as disappointed, I guess, as you were in the outcome of Josky's poster people. I would like to see you call Leroy and get him out to do Grandma's chair. The only thing is, I'm sure you might be disappointed to see all the work you've done and didn't include him before now. But the idea of having to wait for Josky's, I mean, goodness sakes, they'll have to carry stuff in stock. And I just wouldn't wait on it myself. The drapes in the bedroom sound very nice. I'm sure your selection will be superb and it will look fine. You mentioned that y'all are having the dining room mirror cut down, or have already done that, and put it in a frame. Sounds very interesting. What color is the frame? Is it a wooden frame, metal frame, gold, black? What are some of the details of it? I'm almost sorry now that I sent you the photos of this truck. If it disturbs you, that particular truck, there was no one hurt in it. I mean, they were hurt naturally because of the blast, but I mean, there wasn't anyone killed. And they wouldn't cut too badly. It just the shock of it happening scared them quite a bit. But there was no one killed in that truck. The thing was impossible, I guess, looking at the truck, but it was blown out away. It was saved mainly because of the sandbagging that we've been doing to the truck. I was wondering, did you ever receive the tape I sent back of Mr. Norris? I forwarded it on to you. Please keep it. I am looking forward to being with NKK Steel Company in Tokyo. I mentioned to you all that I was going to stay on the R&R Center at Camp Zalo, mainly because it was cheaper. If NKK is going to put me up, I don't see a reason to go back where it's cheaper. I mean, rather live in the high cotton while someone else is putting the bill. The little fan does provide a cooling sensation at night. I'm very happy to have it, and couldn't have got by without it. It does get, I never set my thermometer, but judging from the temperature in the office, when I leave the office, the temperature outside, I would imagine it's still between 85 and 90 degrees outside. Even during the daytime, the thermometer in the office is 80 degrees, so you can imagine how hot it is outside. If the air conditioner can't bring it down to 70. I received a nice letter from Steve and Sanford today, and they're very excited about their trip to Salt Lake, or Steve's trip to Salt Lake. He sent me a nice little check of $10 to supplement my R&R fund, and I appreciate that very much. I do hate to see them part with their money right now, because I know they're going to need it. He had mentioned that the Chamber of Commerce in Salt Lake sent him a little brochure of information on some of the facilities of the town and places to rent and things. I think that's real nice. If Sinclair did that, well, I was commenting before I was so rudely interrupted there in the tape that if Sinclair was so far-sighted enough to send them the information on the city, or the Chamber of Commerce under their own initiative, I think it's very fine. They commented in their letter that Stanford was so excited about setting up their new home, whether it be a rent house or an apartment with a nursery. I know they're on the brink of excitement, and I'm not for them. Steve had mentioned that he hoped that we do drop through on the way back, on my trip back to California. Well, let's see how far away it is, but it sounds like it might be a nice thing to do. They also made a comment on my recent, I haven't made the promotion yet, recommended for promotion, field waiver, which is as good as having it. Anyway, they were wondering what that is equivalent to the sergeant in the Army. Well, it is equivalent to a sergeant in the Army and a sergeant in the Marine Corps and a staff sergeant in the Air Force. This is pay grade 85, so really, I'm looking forward to it. It has many benefits as far as the duties that you have when you have a duty section. The watches you stand are good. And you have duty less often because of the type watches you have, there's only one second class on duty at a time. And he's the sergeant of the guard at that time that puts him in charge of the duty section next to the JOD, which is a chief. We received another letter from Archie Kroon, and he's still recording to beat the band. first class, which is the same as the third class right now. And he's been in the Navy, in the Air Force about, when he gets out within 3 or 4 months. And I'll be making second class within a little over a year, even 2 years of my enlistment. So I've done very well for myself, I guess. Something to be thankful for. I was also rather amused to hear that Easter gives the Braunschweiger man, I believe you pronounce it, when he came out to the mirror, give him quite a time. And that sounds just like her. I'm real proud of it anyway. We're wondering, Dan, how did the auction sale come out that y'all were talking about? You spent all your money? Did you get some good buys? I hope so. Also asking about the phone patch. Yes, they still have it, and I guess I could call again, but it seems like it's so much frustration in the last couple of times I called. And when you'd be there, and the actual communications weren't too good. But we go ahead and try it again. I will call on Sunday. Of course, you won't have had received this tape by that time. But I will go ahead and make it a call, too. To arrange it's about 5 p.m. your time on Sunday afternoon. I've been fairly busy the last couple of days. Saturday I wrote up the base maker for this particular week. And then today I'm writing up the base maker for the Familygram, which must be pressed on the 20th of this month. And I'm going on R&R. I'll be checking out really tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And so I won't have time. I won't be here for the 20th. So I have to get it prepared and ready before I'm on R&R. And in the excitement of getting on R&R again, it kept me eyes doing, I guess. I'm planning on going. As soon as I get into the Palace Hotel, I'm going to have to get all my clothes into a laundry, get them starched up. They are clean, but they're not starched. I did buy a clean white shirt today to wear when I get there, so it won't look too bad. It will really come out of the boondock. Also, Chief Welty came back from Tontian today, and they got water in the well. So we're real happy with that. They should put a feather in M54's hat. With many accommodations and medals, maybe even the captain will get a Bronze Star. He's been up there a couple times. So they'll be clapping the well out and putting a pump on it, possibly in the next week. And be attending the M54 area, and then be assigned somewhere for another well. The second package I sent to the Philippines, unfortunately, it weighed too much to go by SAM, so I sent it the cheapest possible way, female, so any Russian getting there. So it probably will take at least a month or a month and a half to get there. And it's a rather attractive little thing. I won't tell you what it is right now. But it should be interesting. I like it real well. Also, Becky, I got a letter from her, and she was in Amarillo having a blast, and I'm real happy that she's able to visit. But she said that the weekend, or the Saturday before she was with you all on Sunday, she was down at the Bay, and she and Dan was staying that morning with some doctor, I forget his name. And in the afternoon, they thought they were sure enough of themselves as far as navigators in the trailer. They took the boat out by themselves. Well, they were doing just fine on the way out. But as they turned around to come back, they flipped the boat. I don't know whether she told you all about that or not, but I was rather surprised, first of all, to hear that they ventured out by themselves into the high seas. And then secondly, as they turned it over, and I was real happy to hear that there were some people nearby to help them. So it looks like I'm going to have to get a hold of John Munson when I get back home and take Becky with us and go sailing. So the interest that she has, I didn't realize she had. Well, maybe after that experience, she won't be wanting to go anymore. But one way or the other, we can probably talk her into it. Now, I did receive your money order for $50 to buy the cigarette lighters. And first of all, we'll go back to Mr. Toki, which is the large department store there in Tokyo, and buy them from them if I can get it. I do want to go back in the store. I also received a letter from Paul Manning. That poor lad is really confused. He is now working as a waiter in a restaurant, and he said he's going to anticipate going back to school this fall. I do hope he goes back. He's also dating a hairstylist there, and he drives a brand new car. She's spending more money on him than he's spending on her, which I guess is a good setup. But I was glad to hear from them. His parents did get back off of their year-delayed trip to the USA. I was hoping they would come down south and drop in Houston, but I guess they went up further north. Yesterday, I went to the exchange and bought an attaché case for myself, and it's $29.95 stateside price. I paid $19 for it here. Bought it primarily to put all my camera equipment in. I'm getting to the point that looks too much like a tourist, and it was also just too clumsy to carry all the camera equipment. So now I can very neatly put it all in a container and carry it. I'm thinking very seriously when I get back from R&R to go ahead and invest in some nice luggage. They do have the Pullman suitcase by Samsonite, which sells for, I believe it's $45 in the States. And they have it priced here for $34. And also several other suitcases that sell for $35 are sold here for $24. So it might be some good buying luggage. I may take advantage of that. I'm real anxious to hear that we got the last film I sent home, dealing primarily in the sightseeing tour I made at Da Nang. And when I sent it, the next morning I was thinking, I don't think I put tape on the box. I'm real afraid it may have got lost in the mail. But I hope not. So it is a real fine film, I believe. The oil painting for Mr. Stewart of the bridge is got it out on a board right now, but I'm waiting to go to Tokyo to buy the paint. I hope it's not too expensive in the way of paint. If it is, I won't bother with it. So I guess we are getting pretty close to coming home. We started planning the 8-section duty section for the state, and we have 4 duty over here now. We're going to go to 8 sections. The advance party will be leaving in about 10 to 12 days. Maybe gone even by the time I get back from R&R. I don't know. It all depends on when the United sends their advance party. And from that point, we can really start counting the days, because within 30 days, the first flight will arrive here and the first flight will leave from there. So as I had mentioned in a recent article of the Daymaker, which will come out in Familygram, we are sitting here on loaded springs waiting for the call to leave, and we'll fly away. Well, that's to be expected, I guess, in every tape. I just had an interruption, so I had stopped. But I guess just I noticed that we're getting pretty close to the end of the tape. So I'll be saying so long for now, and looking very much forward to talking to you on Sunday. Of course, I don't imagine this tape will arrive until after we've already talked on Sunday. But I do plan to have a very good time in Tokyo, and looking forward to it. So until I get back from Tokyo, I'll say so long for now, and we'll make a nice long tape when I get back of all the exciting things I plan to do. All the new places I'll see and the old ones I'll revisit. I just can't believe I have the chance to go back. So goodbye for now.